Just ahead on CTV News, Congressman Steny Hoyer and Glenn Ivey host a roundtable for federal workers affected by the government shutdown. Plus, top officials for the county are sworn into office.
Every one of you has answered the call and so far have exceeded my expectations.
And New Carrollton breaks ground on 4 revitalized parks throughout the city. These stories and more on CTV News, starting now.
This is CTV News for October 23rd. I'm Katera Jones.
And I'm Anaya Falcon. Thanks so much for joining us. And Congressman Steny Hoyer and Glenn Ivey held a roundtable discussion today with federal workers, union officials, and community partners. They wanted to hear directly from the federal workers and let them know about what services are out there to help them. Jason Perkins Cohen is the Deputy Secretary of the Maryland Department of Labor. He told the federal workers how they could apply for unemployment insurance and about the $700 loan the state is offering. CTV spoke to one federal worker who did not want to be identified. He is pleading with the lawmakers to open the government.
People hostage. Do not hold federal employees hostage, but work to compromise, and don't leave that room until you come up with a resolution to fund and open the government.
We're fighting on behalf of them, not just the federal worker. What does the federal worker do? The federal worker serves the American people, whether they're Social Security recipients, whether they have a small business problem, whether they have a tax problem they have to solve, or they're small contractors who are doing business with the government.
And today, a bill that would have paid some federal workers failed in the Senate.
More than 500 state jobs were eliminated by the Board of Public Works as a way to save money. Buyouts were offered to more than 330 people to leave, plus several vacant positions were cut. Officials believe this move will save more than $27 million for fiscal year 2026. The buyout program was offered to full-time state workers with more than 2 years of state experience.
And millions of Americans will not receive their SNAP benefits because of the government shutdown. In Maryland, that will impact nearly 668,000 people. This will make it harder for everyday people to afford their groceries. Governor Wes Moore said on X, quote, "This isn't gridlock. This is not confusion. It's cruelty." On average, recipients receive a payment of $187 on prepaid EBT cards to buy groceries. And with the government shutdown, federal workers are continuing to not receive a paycheck.
The Capital Area Food Bank is partnering with nonprofits to make sure federal workers and contractors have a meal. CTV's Jonathan Hunter has the story.
The Capital Area Food Bank is on a mission to make sure people impacted by the shutdown don't go hungry. The food bank is partnering with nonprofits to have food distributions all across the DMV. On Tuesday, hundreds of people waited in line to get food outside of No Limits Outreach Ministries in Hyattsville. One of those in line was Letitia Lofties, who says it's been a struggle the last few weeks.
Pepco still want their money. Washington Gas still want their money. DC Water still want their money. Verizon still want their money. It's a struggle. They're not furloughed, so they don't understand the struggle. So it's been a lot.
The Capital Area Food Bank wants to make sure the federal workers have healthy food to eat. Those who stood in line received a box of fresh produce, along with a box of items you can put in a pantry, such as pasta and peanut butter.
Every little bit helps. And even when I was working, produce is expensive.
Because the demand for food is high, people made it a point to stand in line nearly an hour before the food distribution started.
I think it's just wonderful that, this is happening because it's needed. We don't know how long the shutdown is going to last. And, like I say, you have to plan accordingly.
The government shutdown has stretched into day 22, and there's no indication it will be over anytime soon. So the federal workers we spoke to say they're going to try to take advantage of the food distributions so they can make it through.
With so much uncertainty, I'm afraid of what the future may hold, So honestly, I've been trying to do the best I can to stay useful and also make sure that I look for other opportunities like these.
In Hyattsville, Jonathan Hunter, CTV News.
Thanks, Jonathan, for that report. The Capital Area Food Bank will continue to have food distributions while the government is shut down. The food giveaways will take place on Tuesdays, Wednesdays, Fridays, and Saturdays.
And on Fridays, federal workers can stop by United Community in Alexandria or Urban Outreach in Washington, D.C. And on Saturdays, you can stop by Linda Benn Foundation in Beltsville.
Meantime, new details have come out regarding the deadly hit-and-run crash in Bladensburg from over the weekend. Sunday Joseph, the man on your screen, says is what the Bladensburg police say plowed through a birthday party last Saturday, faces charges including manslaughter by a vehicle and failure to remain on the scene of an accident where a death happened. Now, Joseph is being held without bond. One woman, Ashley Hernandez Gutierrez, died from the crash, and 13 others, including children, were hurt. State's Attorney Tara Jackson says, quote, "Our office remains committed to pursuing justice for Ms. Gutierrez and her loved ones." Joseph's next hearing is set for January 30th of next year. And political shakeup in Largo. 8 top officials in County Executive Aisha Brayboy's cabinet are now sworn in after winning council approval. Senior leaders in police, fire, finance, IT, procurement, and Homeland Security took the oath of office earlier this week, but the spotlight was on Dr. Samuel Moki, tapped to lead the Department of the Environment. His confirmation passed on an 8-2 vote after a tense 90-minute debate. Opponents pointed to his firing from the same agency a decade ago, while supporters said he's already rebuilt it brick by brick.
Very humbled to serve in the role of Chief Administrative Officer for this great county. And again, I do thank with heartfelt gratitude County Executive Aisha Brayboy for giving me this opportunity to serve in this capacity.
So when she called me up and she said, "You're going to be the fire chief," I said, "Say what?" I said, "Do I have a choice? Do I have an option?" She said, "No." I was trying to actually talk my way out of it. But I am glad that she chose me to be the fire chief.
Brayboy says the new team's confirmation is more than a milestone. It's a vote of confidence that her administration is just getting started.
And at the University of Maryland, students interning with federal agencies say their plans are now up in the air. One junior who accepted a fall position at the Federal State Commission or Trade Commission says she's unlikely to fulfill her internship requirement after the U.S. government shut down on October 1st. Another intern at the Government Accountability Office says he's been sidelined despite looming deadlines, and this may be a short pause. Meanwhile, a sophomore working at U.S. Customs and Border Protections remains on the job but isn't getting paid, a tough spot for students depending on that income. And workers at the Social Security Administration are being asked to report to their offices even when they're working without pay during the government funding lapse. Union leaders say when these employees ask for a day of telework or leave to save commuting money or handle personal issues, their requests are often denied and they are marked AWOL. Some say lower paid staff can't afford to show up anymore since parking subsidies are suspended and pay is paused. The union is urging the agency to allow at least limited telework so employees don't have to choose between paying for gas and putting food on the table.
A Silver Spring-based company is the group behind the demolition of the east wing of the White House. ACECO began this past Monday with its leveling efforts of the eastern part of the White House. The company's website has its site under construction. However, the group has recently seen online criticism about their involvement in the demolition. Now, the project is part of President Donald Trump's plan to build a larger ballroom, which is expected to be privately funded and cost $250 million. And you're watching CTV News. I'm Katera Jones.
And I'm Anaya Falcon. Coming up,
The Hindu New Year is being celebrated in Beltsville. I'm Byron Scott. We'll have that story coming up.
Hi, I'm Leland Melvin, and I travel to space twice as a NASA astronaut. Space technologies help protect our precious Earth. Space helps us monitor changes in carbon emissions, track the pace of climate change, yet even helps us fight natural disasters. Make sure that you get out to your local science museum or go to spaceforall.us to explore and learn about space and science. Space is for all.
Welcome back. Check your medicine cabinets. Do you have any unwanted pills? If so, you can turn them over to law enforcement during this Saturday's National Prescription Drug Take Back Day. Maryland State Police and Prince George's Police will allow residents to dispose of any unused and expired drugs at all state police barracks and all 8 police stations. Now, here in Maryland, during the last Drug Take Back Day in April, more than 11,000 pounds of prescription pills were turned over. National Prescription Drug Take Back Day is this Saturday, October 25th from 10 a.m. until 2 p.m.
And the Greater Washington Region Clean Cities Coalition came together today for their annual Clean Energy and Transportation Conference. The purpose of the event was for the public to see what organizations in the region are doing to reduce pollution and preserve clean energy. Outside, there were electric cars and buses on display so people could get a firsthand look. Prince George's County Councilwoman Ingrid Watson was one of the speakers at the conference. She outlined what the council is doing in regards to clean energy.
I do believe in climate change, and I believe that it's real. And I think it's something that there's always something that each individual can do to stop it from happening, or at least slow it down.
The issue for clean air should be something that all of us care about because of the fact that bad air contributes to shorter lifespans, higher rates of asthma, higher rates of cancer and other respiratory related illnesses.
And both public and private sector leaders were recognized for their efforts to reduce pollution.
The city of New Carrollton unveiled several new revitalization park projects throughout the municipality. City and county leaders, along with state lawmakers, came out to celebrate the reopening of 4 parks this morning. Oak Lane Park and Westfield Park both have new playgrounds on its land, while Veterans Park has a new food forest where residents can come and get fresh fruit and vegetables. The funding for the food forest came from a grant from the Purple Line Transit Partners Beyond the Rails community program.
So this food forest was created primarily to combat the insecurity of food within our community, and especially just as we just lost shoppers, this would be a way for people to be able to come and pick fresh fruits and vegetables for free to help out with their household. We have pears, we have vegetables, it's a variety, and we're still planting.
City leaders say the grant to build a food forest at Veterans Park was about $3,000.
And the city of Bowie recently received an award at the Sustainable Maryland Awards ceremony. The Environmental Finance Center at the University of Maryland announced that the city was one of the 18 municipalities honored. The town was certified at the silver level, which requires the establishment of Green Team and Action Plan. Mayor Tim Adden said, quote, "This achievement reflects our ongoing commitment to environment, stewardship, innovation, and community engagement."
We are now less than 2 weeks away from the 2025 College Park general election. All College Park City Council and mayoral seats are up for grabs. Now, residents ages 16 and up who are registered with the county's Board of Elections will be eligible to vote. Early voting begins on Sunday, November 2nd from 11 a.m. to 4 p.m. at Davis Hall. Election Day will be from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. at the College Park City Hall on Tuesday, November 4th.
And speaking of the city council seats, 4 new faces are throwing their hats in the race, 3 of which are looking to fill the 2 District 2 seats and left behind by Leatra Brown, E. Stars, and Susan Whitney, who announced they weren't running for re-election. The candidates include Christopher Gill, Kelly Jordan, and Holly Simmons. The last candidate is Daniel Oates, who is running to fill the District 3 seat, left behind by John Rigg, who also decided not to run again. The first District 2 candidates and mayor forum will be tonight, starting at 7:30 p.m. at College Park City Hall.
Prince George's County is home to a sizable Indian community, and many of them have been gathering this week in Beltsville for its annual Diwali festival.
That's right. Byron Scott has our story.
Hindus from around the region gathered at BAPS Hindu Temple in Beltsville for a celebration known as Diwali, or Festival of Lights.
And at its core, Diwali symbolizes the victory of good over evil, light over darkness, and knowledge over ignorance.
The festival covers 5 days, with celebrations happening around the world.
So Diwali is one of the most celebrated holidays in the Indian community, not only for Hindus, but also for Sikhs, Jains, and Buddhists.
This year's theme is unity.
And what he was saying was that spirit of unity shouldn't only last for the few days that we celebrate Diwali. It should be embedded into our lives every single day.
Prince George's County Police and the Beltsville Fire Department took part in the event.
They were doing a ceremony called the Govardhan Puja, and that takes place on the Ankut celebration day, which is today. And the Ankut it translates to a mountain of food. And it's this grand offering to God and to the divine of hundreds of different dishes and delicacies and sweets.
So I've always grown up in the Indian community.
Richa Patel has been volunteering at the festival for several years.
And so volunteering kind of gives me that sense of connection to my cultural background, my religious background, and it also gives me a sense of peace when I come to the mandir. I can connect to my traditions and focus really on my purpose in life.
And like any festival, food plays a big role.
So many Hindus practice vegetarianism. It's part of our religion and our culture. So today, because we're honoring that and we're offering it to God, all of the food is made vegetarian.
Today, Thursday, is the final day of Diwali.
So the 5th day is called Bhai Beej, and that is a special day for siblings, for brothers and sisters, sisters and sisters, brothers and brothers, and it's just time to reconnect with our siblings.
Byron Scott, CTV News.
Thanks, Byron, for that report.
And still to come on CTV News.
We are at the Washington International Horse Show that's bringing in hundreds of riders from across the world to showcase their skills. We'll have more after this.
When I first had Jaden, I'd get comments all the time about how happy I must be. I remember thinking there must be something wrong with me because I don't feel all this joy I'm supposed to be feeling. It was hard to admit that, even to my doctor, but she told me it was postpartum depression and that it's very treatable. These days, things are feeling right, even if they don't always go that way.
Well, the Washington International Horse Show returns for its 4th year.
CTV's McKay Newton was there among all the action happening at Showplace Arena.
I'm here at the Washington International Horse Show here in Upper Marlboro, where 10 of the top 25 riders in the world will be competing. Hunters, jumpers, and equitation is what you'll see at the 4th annual week-long event, including 13 Olympian riders and riders representing 13 countries, some even from right here at home. Lily Sonneborn is competing in the Junior Hunters and Jumpers competition.
So amazing to have it close to the city. I'm actually staying at home. I live about 45 minutes away, so it's really nice, and it makes it fun to go to the city for dinners and go see the history, the Capitol building. It's really cool.
Vicki Lowell, president of the board of the Washington International Horse Show, says the event brings in millions of dollars for the county.
The economic impact of the horse show is over $9 million. We bring over 700 horses are here this year to compete, more than 500 riders.
And many supportive parents, too.
My son is probably one of the top junior riders. He won the last 2 classes that he's been in so far, so that's a great way to start. He's got a long week ahead of him.
But it's not all about the competition. Some say it's all about the love of the horses that keep them going.
I've always loved animals and always loved horses, and so having a sport where you can make a partnership with an animal, it's just a dream come true. I'd say it takes a lot of commitment, so make sure you really love the horses and you're in it for the right reason, which is for the horses. I think some people lose sight of that because it's so competitive and you're traveling every weekend for the sport, but at the heart of it all is the horse and the love of the horse.
In Upper Marlboro, Maryland, Michaela Newton, CTV News.
The Washington International Horse Show runs until this Sunday, the 26th.
And a new report from the state's comptroller's office shows a staggering amount of residents are moving out of Maryland. The Housing and Economy report showed that from 2010 to 2023, 2.3 million Maryland residents moved to other states, marking a net average of 40,000 per year. The main reason for the move, other states providing lower housing costs and having fewer regulations on the housing market. Maryland is the 6th most regulated housing market in the nation.
Last technicians, listen up. The Maryland Department of Labor's Division of Occupational and Professional Licensing is launching a new license for eyelash extension technicians. Until now, lash techs were required to obtain a cosmetologist or esthetician license from the Maryland Board of Cosmetologists. This new limited license makes it possible for those who want to provide eyelash services the ability to do so without the additional expense of a broader cosmetologist or esthetician license.
And a new survey shows signs of trouble in Maryland. Since mobile sports betting became legal, there's been a sharp rise in disordered gambling behavior. About 5.7% of adults reported gambling problems in the past year, up from 4% in the 2022 report. Online and mobile sports bets jumped from 3% to 12% of respondents, and among sports bettors, nearly 15% met criteria for disordered gambling. Experts say as betting gets easier, especially on phones, vulnerable groups may face greater risks, and they're calling for more monitoring and support.
The halo's shining bright this week because our pet of the week is an angel. A 3-year-old pug, she's been spreading love at the shelter.
Yes, an angel's name says it all. This sweet girl is heaven sent. She loves cuddles, enjoys short walks, and can turn any cloudy day into pure paradise.
She's a happy-go-lucky girl. She is already housebroken, which is another win. So that way, in terms of training, you won't have to do too much. Any new introduction to for her. Other than that, she's a really sweet girl and just looking to find her forever home, especially right before the holidays. It's a good time.
So if you're looking for a little furry guardian angel, Angel and her four-legged friends are waiting for their forever homes.
Just call Animal Services at 301-780-7200.
Remember, your next best friend could be just one adoption away. And don't go anywhere just yet. It's now time for our Thursday sports page.
That's right. Our Simon Buggs is at the University of Maryland with the latest on the school's women's basketball team.
What's going on, sports fans? I'm here in College Park, where I got the opportunity to talk to the UMD women's basketball players about the upcoming season. Stay tuned to find out what they had to say after the break. Don't go anywhere.
The drug scene in Maryland is changing. Fentanyl and xylazine are being added to street drugs, and you may not even know it. Xylazine is not even intended for humans, and fentanyl is an opioid 50 times stronger than heroin, and contributed to over 80% of overdose deaths in our state. Anyone who uses drugs, even occasionally, is at risk of overdose. To learn more, visit stopoverdose.maryland.gov or call or text 988.
What's going on, sports fans? Are you ready? Because it's time for your Thursday sports page. Now, for our first story, CTV Sports shines a light on a local youth football program that is dedicated to making a difference in their community. Take a look. The City Life Youth Football Program is an organization based out of Capitol Heights that teaches children ages 5 to 13 not just how to play, but also succeed on the gridiron. But City Life isn't just a football program, it's also an organization that, more importantly, makes sure their athletes are doing well off the field as well.
The first thing we do, and we do it like before we practice or anything also, when we group up or anything, we first ask them how it's school. School is number one. That's the very first thing we always say to them. School is number one. If any of your parents sit here and let us know that you got in trouble, you're not doing work, you're not doing this here, we just going to make you run the whole practice. We're going to sit here and let you know school is number one. Your household and everything is number two. Football is secondary.
Not only do the City Life Raptors make sure their kids are doing well in school, but they also make sure to build their kids up to have good character. And I spoke to some parents about the impact this program has had on their child from that aspect.
He's learning how to be a team player. He's he's becoming more obedient. He's definitely learning how to take turns and definitely push himself to not give up when he may be having some challenges with things that he doesn't understand quite yet, but he's definitely pushing himself to keep going.
It's giving him that sense of teamwork, belonging, being with some people that can motivate him to be in a good space, and, it's boosting up his confidence, My son was not shy by a long shot, but, just kind of like helping him kind of come into his own, bring his own person.
Now, as far as on the field, the Raptors have had a great season so far. A big reason for that is the coaching staff, and I spoke to one player on the 6U team about his experience being coached by Coach Leonard and others.
I think they're good, they do amazing, they help us, they're going to help us go all the way to the championship. They do all that thing. They're good.
Meanwhile, the start of the UMD women's basketball season is less than 2 weeks away, and this team looks primed to have another successful season in 2026. The Lady Terps have a nice mix of vets and new players on the team, and some players I spoke to touched on what it's been like establishing that team chemistry as the season approaches.
It's been so easy. All of them are just fantastic people. They're great players, but they're even better people off the court. When I first got on campus, they're all so welcoming. I ran into so many of them right off the bat, and then instantly we're all hanging out in an apartment. And it was just that team chemistry, they don't it just comes so naturally to all of us. We have Love Island nights every single night, and it was just that's just such a fun way to get to know people and seeing the reactions to all the drama.
The summer we spent a lot of time getting to know each other, and I think it's really translated to the court. Our chemistry is kind of taken off running. I think just having that care for each other off the court just makes it easier when you're on the court. You kind of know everybody comes from a good place. You trust everyone. I think you know, you work out little kinks, but I think when you know that the intentions are pure, it kind of makes it easier to play for each other, you know, go for each other. So I think, you know, that work that we did in the summer, you know, creating those bonds, I think has just really helped us.
Maryland will open up the season versus Loyola on November 3rd. And in NBA news, the Washington Wizards fell to the Milwaukee Bucks last night in their first game of the season, 133-120. They'll face off next against Anthony Davis and the Dallas Mavericks tomorrow at 8:30. And that wraps up your Thursday sports page. From College Park, Simon Buggs, CTV Sports, back to you guys in the studio.
And that wraps up CTV News for now. Thanks for joining us.
We'll see you again tomorrow. Have a good night.